Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have from Paranormal Den, Jason Emerick and Tari Brillhart. I hope I didn't butcher your last name, Tari. I didn't get to talk to you to find out how your last name sounded. I'm the butcher name, so I apologize. We're having them on, though. They're from Akron, Ohio. They are paranormal investigators. They do a lot of ITC work. I've had them on, shared a lot of their videos on my timeline. People in the ITC Collective are very familiar with them. So we're going to talk a lot about ITC, communicating with spirits. We're going to show a couple of his videos tonight. I definitely have, he's got some really good catches out there, so I can't wait to do that. And then we'll have open lines where you can call in, ask the guest questions after the second half of the show. We'll have the Skype lines for that tonight. And then what we like to do every Sunday night is the World Wide Web of Weird, and we got some interesting stuff, so we want to get to that. All right, guys, we'll be with you in just one sec. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight we'll have on there. I have to call them. We try to get them on Hangout. Sometimes that doesn't work. Some guests are on by video, some are on by phone. We tried. Jason tried to get it to work, but audio wasn't good enough. So we'll have them on the phone line. So we'll only have two Skype lines open tonight because I'll have them on my phone. Of course, I have my lovely co-host with me right now. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well, Jason. Excited to be here and excited for these topics that you've got lined up for the night.
Yeah, especially since it's ITC. That's your favorite topic.
Oh, one of them, yes.
And, this is our last time to do this, guys, because we're going to have a 3-week break after this show because of the holidays, and I work retail, and right after the holidays, it's inventory. and it's always on a Sunday night. So we got 3 weeks, and then we'll be back. You'll get to listen to the reruns of us on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. That's where we're streaming out now to Facebook Live and to Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. On there, you can listen, and they'll play the reruns to it. We won't be on Facebook Live or anything. But let's do what we do every Sunday night is the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight I decided we'd start the World Wide Web of Weird off with what's been very viral. A lot of people in the UFO community are talking about this. Is the New York Times and I believe the Washington Post now have both done articles on their Department of Defense coming out that they spent, $22 billion on researching UFOs. And there's a video that's been going around. It came out, it happened in 2005. And it's on the USS Nimitz. I believe this is what this video comes from. So this everybody's familiar with it. If you're into UFOs, you might be familiar with Blink-182's Tom DeLonge. He had the big disclosure event where he thought, he's going to tell everybody we're going to get these military people. I have insider contact and tell everybody about UFOs and have some big disclosure. Well, my opinion, it turned out to be more of a it just didn't seem, it seemed more like a money grab. I'm just saying, it just did. And not much disclosure. And they talked about a little bit about this video. I'm like, but we've known about this video. Now that New York Times and Washington Post, people are like, oh, it's disclosure. It's disclosure. And I get the excitement. I think it's cool. We got mainstream media covering something like this. But I don't know. This is the video in question. Go ahead and play it, Jeff.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not an LNS though, is it? It's not. It is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's look at that thing. It's rotating. Fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Look at that thing, dude.
All right, Jeff. So this article, I'm not going to read a whole thing here, but $600 billion annual Defense Department budget. This comes from the New York Times. The $22 million of it was spent on advanced aerospace threat identification program. Was almost impossible to find, which is how the Pentagon wanted it. For years, the program investigated reports of unidentified flying objects, according to Defense Department officials. Interviews with program participants and recorded records obtained by New York Times. It was run by a military intelligence official, Luis Elizondo, on the fifth floor of the Pentagon C ring, deep within the building's maze. They spent a ton of money on this. They say Senator Harry Reid, a Nevada Democrat from the Senate, majority leader at the time, and had an interest in space phenomenon, helped push this little clandestine Defense Department UFO project. You know how many times they've denied that they've done they're looking into UFOs, how many Freedom of Information Acts people have not found anything, and yet it was going on, and $22 billion spent on it. I understand the excitement around this, and I'm excited, that you got some major news media sources talking about this, and this is some incredible footage, but it's controlled disclosure for sure, and I feel like we're just getting little snippets now, and everybody's like, maybe Tom DeLonge's right. We're going to get, some really full disclosure. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not. All right, let's move on. All right, so this comes from Unexplained Mysteries. This one I find really interesting, actually. The one big UFO, the only UFO I ever saw was almost like a cigar-shaped UFO. And so this thing out in space.
I've been really curious about this one myself.
Mystery object to be checked for ET signals. Like I said, it comes from Unexplained Mysteries. An asteroid thought to have come from another solar system is to be checked for signs of alien technology. Name, do you know how to say this, Jamie, since you've been reading this? Omana? I don't even know. It starts with an O-U-M-U-A-M-U-A. Amamu? I don't know. The object was recently spotted and hurtling past the sun is the first confirmed example of an asteroid originating from outside our solar system. Now astronomers with the Breakthrough Listen project searches for evidence of intelligent extraterrestrial life are planning to use the Green Bank telescope in West Virginia to determine whether or not the asteroid is carrying alien technology. Most likely it's of natural origin, but it's so peculiar we would like to check it has any signs of artificial origin, such as radio emissions, said Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb. If we do detect a signal that appears artificial in origin, we'll know immediately. Astronomers believe that the interstellar visitors like this one could be quite numerous in our solar system, with as many as 10,000 beings situated closer to the Sun and Neptune. I should have got a better article on this. Unexplained Mysteries kind of, I like their short articles, but there's actually a little more to it. It's the shape. It's, this cigar shape. They say that it has. Some of the scientists believe is odd. Some people speculated, like Stephen Hawking, that it's a spaceship due to the cigar shape because they forgot what they said. It was like hyperspace resistant shape or something like that. A cigar shape would be good for sublight travel, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but so I thought that was interesting.
Secure Team on YouTube has a really good video put together about this. I'm looking for the
they'd
link.
Be all over it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to your PM.
All right. Yeah, I haven't seen that. All right, mystery. This next one is, and my son would love this. He loves, we went and saw Star Wars, and I'm not going to get in. Don't get me started on that. We went and saw Star Wars, and they had the Jurassic Park preview come up, and he started crying because there's dinosaurs dying in it. He doesn't care about the people dying in the preview. No. He cares about the dinosaurs dying. My wife's laughing in the background right now. He cares about the dinosaurs dying. He started crying about the dinosaurs. This is not the first time this has happened, but he's doing it in the movie theater. I'm like, seriously. All right, so this comes from Daily Mail. A mystery is a partially preserved corpse resembling a dinosaur is found with flesh still on its bones in India. Scientists have been left mystified after the body of a creature resembling a dinosaur was discovered with the flesh still on its bones. The partially preserved corpse was discovered by an electrician cleaning out a substation that had been left untouched for 35 years in Jaspar, a small city in Uttarakhand, India. You knew I butchered that. It resembles a small dinosaur, but since flightless dinosaurs have been extinct for 65 million years, scientists struggled to identify it. The creature has now been sent for analysis, including carbon dating, which will reveal its age. I mean, it shouldn't have any flesh just buried in there. I mean, it's not. It should be fossilized. You know, there's no. How was it preserved? Dr. Parag Madhakar, I'm not going to try to say that. A conservator with the Indian Forest Service said that the creature would remain an enigma until scientific analysis has been completed. He said it looks like a dinosaur, but we can't say anything until all tests are done. Kumar, who is pursuing a PhD in paleontology from Delhi University, told local media that it was impossible for a dinosaur skeleton to be so well preserved after so long. He said non-avian dinosaurs have been extinct for past 65 million years, but it doesn't resemble a theropod or a suborder of dinosaurs, which included bipedal carnivores. It should be fossilized. So how does this thing have flesh? I thought this was really interesting. I mean, look at the tail on it. And I don't think this is fake. I mean, this is serious stuff. I don't know. Maybe somebody, I don't know. Maybe they're still around. My son would love that. They'd be eating people and he'd be cheering them on. Okay, number 4. People have been talking. I think we covered this guy on the World Wide Web of Weird before. I'm not totally remembered. Only article I have, sorry, is from Coast to Coast. It's the only article I have on it. But I think we covered him before because he said his father back in, like, I think 1953, his father killed a Bigfoot, and they chopped it up because they couldn't carry it. It was so big, and put it in a freezer, and they've had it in their family all this years, and he showed a foot that he had. He said, more body parts to come, as gruesome and morbid as that could be. And now, you think he would start with the head. He started with, I think it was the foot. Now he's showing the head. So go ahead and roll that video, Jeff.
Not everything's a joke. Yeah, I do joke around, but this is not a joke. This is real. Check it out. You can see it has a lot of ice on it. It has remained frozen. You can see its eyeball there. This is very heavy. It weighs about 120 pounds, so I can't move it by myself. I have to have somebody help me move it. You can tell the immense size of the creature by comparing it to my head. My father shot the Bigfoot in 1953. They had to cut it
up. It's really clipping up. Go ahead and stop the audio. It's really clipping.
I have all the body parts.
Yeah, so this is Peter Kane. He made waves beginning in 2017 when he showed the world a massive foot that allegedly came from the aforementioned Sasquatch. Now, as the year comes close, he has revealed yet another purported piece of the creature, its frozen head. The large, hairy, frost-covered object sports a pair of teeth, which almost appear to be smiling in the video created by Kane this week. At times, quite gruesome, the footage features Kane zooming in on one of the possible Bigfoot head and poking at it with his fingers, perhaps to prove that it is not some kind of fake. To that end, he declared to viewers, not everything is a joke. Yeah, I do joke around, but that's not a joke. This is real. According to him, the cranium weighs around 120 pounds, requiring him to enlist help when coming to carry on the moving head. And you know what? I didn't get the video right. I should have edited. There was one more. When he turns around, you see the head. There almost looks like there's a metal pole sticking out of the bottom of it. You can't see it from his angles. I should have got it. But you can find this on our Paranormal Soup YouTube channel. We have a playlist called The World Wide Web of Weird, and you can find this video down the list we put in there, and check it out. I don't know. It seems a bit fishy to me. One piece at a time he's showing it. Maybe it is the real deal. And I'd like to know more of his story. I'd love to have the guy on the show to talk about it. But I don't know. I mean, he hasn't. The proof is in the pudding. If it's real deal and you have all these body parts, give one. Give him a toe. Give him a toe. Let's get some DNA analysis. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. But until that happens, okay, you got some hairy, weird thing in your fridge, but we don't know what it is until you let us do a DNA test, which he has not done. Okay, let's move on. Number 5, and on the World Wide Web of Weird, another one from Unexplained Mysteries. This is a creature filmed by a family in Sydney, Australia. I believe it was Sydney, Australia. So we're doing the cryptoid thing tonight. 65-year-old Fedi Ada and his family had been out fishing when they encountered something rather unusual. An unidentified creature which surfaced unexpected near their boat in Hawkesbury River for about 10 seconds has been described by the family as very strange. It looked human the way it lifted its head, said Ada. It looked over towards us like, who are these people? My brother threw bait in and then it just got scared off. Despite the family's concerns, however, the sighting may have rather mundane explanations. It's rare you actually get to see many animals that stay below the surface, said Secretary Hawkesbury's River Rescue Felicity Brownrigg. Okay, got that. My guess would be it's a seal. I guess they don't come up very often. That's what I was going to say. It looks like it was a seal. They said it looked very human. Well, seals can have that appearance. They just don't spot them in this lake. People weren't used to seeing them in this area. But to me, I think it's a seal. And rare. It looks weird, but look at the picture on the right. If you look at it, it looks like a seal's head there. And it looks like a seal's head poking out, the way that it swims. And that's what I swear.
100% looks like a seal to me.
Everybody's like, it's a sea monster. No, it's a seal.
I grew up on the coast, and those are seals typically.
All right, so this next one up, this interests me. This would be really cool, and I want one. And this is the mad scientist in me. Glowing trees could replace streetlights, man. Yeah, this would be cool. I know it's totally awful. It's totally like messing with nature. We shouldn't do it at all. I know there's the other part of me that tells me that. But by embedding nanoparticles in leaves, scientists at MIT have created plants that glow in the dark. The breakthrough, which could pave the way for environmentally friendly public lighting solutions that don't even require electricity, has the potential to revolutionize how we light up our homes and cities. Creating the glowing leaves involved immersing the plants in special nanoparticle-based solutions and exposing them to high pressures. Right now, the plants are only able to glow in the dark around 4 hours. However, researchers are looking to expand the idea and create larger plants that glow indefinitely. Our target is to perform one treatment when the plant is seeding or mature plant and have it last for a lifetime of the plant, said study senior author Professor Michael Strano. Our work is very seriously opens up the doorway to street lamps that are nothing but treated trees and indirect lighting around homes. That would be awesome. I have to say. I know there's some people like, bad science. Don't do it. Don't do it, science. I'm one of those people, I have to admit, I'm just like, no, don't do it. Do it. Okay, let's move on. Last up on the World Wide Web of Weird, this one, me and my wife were just talking about this. We saw some documentary about spontaneous combustion. We started talking about, we wonder when the last case was that people have talked about her. And the next day, I swear to God, we just had this conversation. The next day, this article comes out on Newsweek, and now it's all over. Man burst into flames on a London street, and police still don't know why. So awful. London police are appealing for witnesses to a man who died after bursting into flames in front of onlookers on a street in North London. John Nolan, 70-year-old unmarried former construction worker, was engulfed in flames on the street in North London on September 17th. Paramedics were called to attend to a man on fire, local newspaper Ham and High reported. Nolan suffered severe burns and was airlifted to the hospital. He died in a special burns unit in Essex the next day when his life support machine was turned off. A postmortem examination determined that Nolan's death was due to severe burns. Cannot talk now. There were no accelerants found on his body, and there have been no leads as to the reason Nolan caught fire, according to the Ham and High. That's a weird newspaper name. Nolan's sister, Mary Caffrey, a retired NHS hospital PA, said he went outside the house. He went outside the house he lived in with his brother Jimmy to go for a walk. It was during that walk that the incident occurred. He was a frail elderly man with a walking stick. He had no enemies, so we aren't sure what could have happened. She told Newsweek. I'm surprised by the tragedy. Police are examining his clothes now, but currently they are no closer to solving anything. Everything is still up in the air. And that's what always happens with these spontaneous combustions. They don't know how it starts. It's so scary. This is like the hypochondriac's worst nightmare. Don't tell a hypochondriac and convince them about a bunch of spontaneous combustion cases, because that would be the worst to think. I could go up in flames at any time. Anytime, and no explanation. It's one of those phenomena, and it's just really interesting. I'd love to have a guest on that's really done a lot of research on that, because spontaneous combustion, and or I just talk about it. I'm not some expert, but I've always had an interest in it. It's just crazy. It will take these bodies up at such degrees of heat that they're literally ash, barely any bone left, and then there'll be like one solid leg left, totally with the flesh on it. It's one of the weirdest phenomenon, and something that totally interests me. It's also scary and it's sad. I mean, this poor guy, I mean, what a horrible way to go. He just went for a walk and just no reason. And his poor family has no idea, what happened to him. There's just no explanation. I mean, and spontaneous combustion, I mean, you look back, it goes back not just in our modern times, the first cases that really got documented were in the 40s, I think. But it goes back, if you look at literature and stuff, it goes back hundreds to 1,000 years. There's talk of people bursting up in flames. What the heck? It's just like I said, a hypochondriac. Don't tell them about spontaneous combustion. All right. Well, our guests are going to be coming up after the commercial break. We got Jason Emerick and Tari Brillhart, if I'm saying her name right. Sorry, Tari, if I'm totally butchering it. That's how I am. I'm sorry. We play music on a Late Night in the Midlands radio network. You can hear on there, but you will hear some quiet on Facebook. And then we'll be back and talk to our guest about their investigations into paranormal phenomenon, ITC, talking to spirits. All right, guys. Be back in just a few minutes. All right. Tonight's guests, we have Jason Emerick and Tari Brillhart. We're going to be talking about them, about their paranormal investigators from Akron, Ohio, who do a lot of ITC research, has some interesting stuff. We have a couple videos of theirs tonight I want to play. There's a compilation video of some of the evidence he's gotten recently, and even one where he might have contacted Charles Manson, who recently passed away. It's very popular in the ITC field to try to contact people right after they pass. Some people look down on it, but you also seem to get a lot of confirmation. And it depends on what you're doing. We'll talk about that tonight. All right, let's go ahead and get to our guest. Jason, Tari, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. How are you?
Oh,
How is everything?
you're muffled. You there? Uh-oh.
Is that better?
Keep talking.
Is that better?
That seems better. You were muffled there. You were good for a second, and then it got really muffled. I don't know if you were moving something or not.
Yeah, I was moving around, so I won't move too much more.
Okay. Stay very still. All right. Jason, tell the audience tonight a little bit who you are, and Tari too as well. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you guys, came to form the Paranormal Den and get into doing this work.
7 years ago, I kind of struck an interest with my younger brother. We did a little bit of stuff. We really didn't know what we were doing at the time. 2.5 years ago, I met Terry. We've been together for 2.5 years.
I was butchering even her first name, Terry. How do you say her last name? Sorry, Terry. I'm thinking.
Yeah, but we met and we had a common interest in the paranormal. Early on, I had already had a SB7 from when me and my brother had done stuff. So early on, we'd go to a couple cemeteries, and it was like amazing the connection that we had with the spiritual energy in the area. We didn't know that it was that strong until we kept going, doing it more often. I mean, in less than a year, we've gone from getting, a couple voices here and there to just absolute full sentences, not even, just on one frequency. It's crazy sometimes. It's awesome, the spiritual connection that we have. And it's only going to get better, and, that's who we are. Terry, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, that was how we met, was an interest in the paranormal in the first place.
I know a number of people have met that way. Definitely brings us together. Me and my wife, our first date, I knew she was the right one because I could talk to her about paranormal stuff and she was totally into it. I don't think most of the people don't. Wow, my phone's going crazy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do something here, two things at once, and I literally have a possessed phone. Okay, that's really weird. Sorry, we're already getting weirdness tonight. Anyways, we
Well, that's good.
that's how it brings it together, because not everybody is into the paranormal, or most people are kind of like scared to even talk about it sometimes. And, some people have a general interest, but it's us. When you have that kind of relationship, it's an awesome thing, because you have somebody can like talk about with this stuff. Like you can't talk about it at work with other people half the time.
Yeah, most people, you tell them about some experience you had, and they're either completely closed to even believing that's what it could be, or just are afraid of it altogether.
Now, so when you guys started investigating, what would, at least for you, Jason, what kind of places did you start doing besides cemeteries? Were you doing any kind of residential investigations, or were you doing kind of historic locations?
We did an abandoned hospital we documented evidence there for a little over 2 years. We have a mutual friend actually, Alex Bob, which I think will be on in January with you. He came up and actually stayed at our place, and we did 2 full documentaries with him, and then we went up there and explored and showed him the morgue and stuff like that. But that was a place that we enjoyed going. We learned a lot.
Now, did you guys have experiences as kids at all, what really got you, besides getting into it with your brother, did something happen to you as a kid that made you believe that, there's something more than what they tell you, in life, that there's this other world, ghosts and spirits?
I've been intuitive since I was a kid. I remember waking up one morning when I was 4 years old with things that looked insect-like crawling on my walls. I couldn't see them in full detail.
Were they small?
They were there, and I ran out of my room. It was daylight out, so it was early morning. Went into my mother's room. My mom said, "It's not real." She said, "Close your eyes, they'll be gone." They were gone, but they were there. And then I kind of closed my mind to the paranormal.
Jason, you kind of got my hair on my arms stick up a little bit. I had an experience about that same age where I was at my mom had me at a friend's house, and they had me stay in a room. Of course, I'm a little kid. I'm freaked out about staying in somebody else's house, trying to sleep there. But at one moment, I looked up, and there was these bugs crawling all over the walls. Mm-hmm. And I remember not being able to move. I was so terrified, and I was so terrified they're going to get me. We said the bugs like that. Yeah.
It's scary, man, but it was that moment, we tell our own kids that all of it is real. We don't want to close their minds. That's entirely up to them. It's open to interpretation, but we will never tell them that it does not exist. Because we have proven to ourselves that it does. And my mother that day closed my mind, and it took me years to really fully believe until I heard a woman scream in a building that no one else was in. There are things, there are defining moments that bring all of that back, and it happened not too long ago. So I'm building that relationship, because we're all part of that same conscious energy. It's no difference. We're just building that energy when we do what we do, whether it's at a place or at our house or wherever.
And Terry, did you have any kind of childhood? I call it sometimes trauma from the ghost. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's traumatic.
Very, very scary, especially when you're really little. I was probably 6, maybe 7, and there was a huge shadow figure that would come into my bedroom, and it would just kind of slither down to the floor, and I would be absolutely frozen. And my grandma was a very strict Christian woman, but she still believed that, things like demons and anything paranormal, spirit-wise, is absolutely possible. She would just tell me and basically close my eyes, tell it to go away, and that would be that. And it would come every now and then, but it was definitely there.
We are getting when Terry talks, we get a click, like a click sound. It clicks, and then it clicks. Do you know if that's something, she bending over in a chair or something that's making that noise, or?
My dog is walking around, so I apologize.
Oh, okay. Oh, and I know how that goes, man. So, when you started out, were you doing like EVP work a lot, or did you go right into the kind of the ghost box and ITC field?
Yeah, we just basically went straight into. We just had an extra IR camera laying around, and we did a lot of video, just with like trying to catch spiritual energy, not dust, actual like string type energy, and the ghost box. So it was basically those two things we had readily available at the time. So we went full force into it, man, and we've come so far in such a short amount of time, and it's amazing.
Now, do you do it in your home, the ITC?
Yes, our home was is haunted prior to us doing any of this. But there have been occasions where we've brought in stuff home. We do all the time. It's just all part of the paranormal game. You just got to make sure that you protect yourself and you protect your home by cleansing it and stuff like that. But, yes, we do sessions in our home. Actually, most of the sessions, like the Charles Manson session, we did at our house. We can pull energy from anywhere. Anybody can, if you develop that intuitive side that we were just discussing a minute ago. Anybody can. You can pull on that. That's just a big ball of energy out there that we can grab hold of at any time, which you'll see in the video.
And we're going to play that here soon too. We'll do the first one. We'll save the other one for after the second part of the show. But when you're doing these locations, so you say you're sensitive. How far does your sensitivity go? Are you able to perceive kind of any, do you like get visions of what of ghosts at all, or or just a feeling?
Well, I see. We hear audible voices all the time. Like, we are recording this. We record every time we're either being interviewed for a magazine or any type of radio show or podcast.
Ooh,
whatever.
So you might get an EVP on this.
Yeah, we usually do.
Awesome.
But it's like constant at our house. The spiritual energy is insane. So yeah, it's like they're standing around at all times having conversation.
See, now, I do ITC in my home once a month for the ITC collective. Not even then. We're not going to have an ITC collective show till like February, I think. But I do it once a month, and I try to keep it to a minimum because as a father, I had one experience where I was testing some apps out and doing an ITC session, and we were live streaming just during the day, and I came upstairs, and my son was hiding under his table, and he saw a man and a little girl in the house, and I'm like, ooh. And he doesn't usually say stuff like that, unless it's something happening. He's got an imagination. He's my kid, but he was adamant they were there. So,
well, I'm telling you, it's totally real. I mean, I've been scared like I've been 5 years old. I'm a grown man. But there have been times when I felt like there was nothing I could do.
Had to sleep in another room.
Yeah, I've had to move rooms,
Well, my question is, do you feel like your children get affected by it, though?
Yeah, our children have seen things and have been affected by it. But we learned throughout a very short period of time, because we had to, that we had to take measures into our own hands and to control it a little bit better. We learned a lot in a very short period of time, as far as making sure that they know their place when it comes to our place.
So you guys kind of like put protections up around the house. You said you bless it, kind of clear the energy.
Correct. Sometimes we got to do it within like hours of an investigation. Other times,
I would think after like trying to do it with Charles Manson, you'd like do it right away.
Yeah, actually, we haven't. Sometimes we actually use that that energy that's still in the home to also contact others. So sometimes we wait. We haven't cleared the house.
Wait to see if stuff starts acting up.
Yeah, because we also run night vision cameras in our home. We have an urn. It has a spiritual attachment. It's a male attachment. We've been seeing the male figure every time we move the urn. We've been doing tests. We do see a male figure walking by it every now and then. So we like doing like little experiments at our home. So we wait sometimes, unless it's a malevolent or we feel like it's something like very evil and has intent.
Have you had that experience in your home though from doing it?
I went to an abandoned drug house not too long ago and did a very short investigation there, and I brought back something horrible. Immediately, I had thoughts of suicide.
Oh,
Crazy stuff. Was having dreams of seeing myself hanging. Like, it was crazy. So the very next day we saged the house. Haven't had any problems since, but I'm telling you, yeah, there are times when it's very intense.
You said short investigation because the location was really bad, or just it was that you got the creeps from it that bad?
I don't like, I had permission to be there, but the whole, I mean, it looks like Jurassic Park mushrooms. There's black mold in the place.
Oh God, yeah. It's
needles
not worth
there.
It's not worth it. You know.
There's stuff there that I don't even want to be around. So it was short. But within a short amount of time, we captured a lot of evidence, and it's very dark and evil there. We had such a really weird 3 days after that. I didn't feel like myself. It was crazy, but yeah, we took care of that.
Yeah, I know that I've had experience like that, and it is dangerous. There is a little bit of a danger, that you can get something like this attached to you and really affect you.
Of course, yes, definitely. Because if you believe, you got to believe 100%. That's the thing. If you're going to do this and do the whole ITC thing and want to be the conduit or use something, but it's you that helps the whole situation out. You have to be that, and you have to do that 100%. So, whether you have to believe in the good and the evil, because you're going to run into both. It's just like the human world, that's how we look at it. We're going into a place that we don't know who's going to be there, but there might be some nasty old dude or some really cool.
Yeah, I'd be more scared of the real people you might run into, not the ghosts, at a place like that.
Right. But, we look at it that way, though, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, you're going somewhere where, things did not end well for people.
Correct.
There,
Yep.
So you have some very probably disgruntled souls.
Yep. Exactly.
Now, when you in a place like that, like you talked about evidence, what was the kind of evidence you were getting from like somewhere that was so dark? I mean, what was coming through the device and that?
There was actually in the compilation video that I sent you, there's some of that video there. We did get a light anomaly. It's not dust. It's far enough, and it does seem to have thought and conscious behind the movement. I also get confirmation and validations through the radio that I'm using at the exact same time this is all being captured, and it's telling me that it's right here. And then it says, "God, I'm hurting." There's a whole bunch of, it's all dark there. Like, there was nothing positive that came through the radio at all. I can go to certain cemeteries. I can sit at my house and ask for all the positive energy to come through, and we can get laughter, we can get child saying good things, but in places like that, I've come to find what we both have, that it's not good. Everything that's coming through is either sad,
Do you get a lot of children's voices?
Yeah, being sensitive, we're kind of on the in-between, we're medium sometime, but, when we did the Mark and Debbie Constantino video a couple weeks ago, Terry started crying for no reason. The empathic side comes out, and she had no idea. She's crying, and she's telling me, I have no idea why I'm crying right now. So like, there are times when you feel it. There's no.
You feel the emotion overtake you. I know I'm a very empathic person too, and I
so
know that feeling.
We experienced that part of it as well, but yeah, that was it's really intense sometimes.
Jeff, why don't you go ahead and pull up the video? We'll get that going here in a second, and we'll play the video. This is like pretty much your more recent evidence compilation video.
Yeah, a lot of these videos themselves are videos that we use the Radio Shack 12587.
Let me get this share screen up here. All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and play the video because I want to talk a little bit about it before we have to go to the last commercial break too. So go ahead and play the video, Jeff.
Can you say the name of this place? Are there any spirits here?
Can you show yourself again? What's your name? Dude, that's crazy. I got an awesome light.
Stop the video a second. Stop the video. The one with the demon. Are you still there, Jason?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I don't know if you can rewind a little bit. It looks like something moves on the shelf back there. Is that my imagination?
No, you're correct. We don't like to just because there's a lot of skepticism when it comes to.
Well, my eye caught it. I saw that.
I caught that too.
Okay, yeah, but there's we don't always post what we see in videos because a lot of people bash orbs and energy.
Well, the orbs one thing that we can argue about orbs all night, but when something moves,
I do
story,
the same stuff in my videos, Jason. A lot of times, if it's something we heard out loud that's so clear, we're gonna tag it, But it's like undeniable. Other things, I like to leave it to their interpretation. I don't want to influence them or tell them what I want them to think or what I want them to see. I'm interested in seeing how many other people say, hey, did you catch that? Did you see that?
It's really quick. It's hard to see, but it looked like it just moved slightly. It's hard to tell. I might be wrong, but
I can forward you the whole YouTube video as well.
I don't know. It looked like it moved a second. I don't know. It goes really quick. I'm going to have to watch it again. All right, so go ahead and play the rest of the video. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop it, but it just caught my eye.
No, you're fine.
It just looks like it moves back and forth for a second. Might be the video, though. That might have been the video, digital. That might not have been it moving. Then it might have just been the video. This is about Tesla here for radio audience. I heard the Tesla in there. He's holding up cards for radio audience. He's holding up cards. See if he can read it. I heard the AC. He held up a card and asked if he could say AC or DC. Which would you do? You know, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a little bit muffled. You guys definitely check this out on Paranormal Den, but I love that. I've always tried to communicate with Tesla. Now we got Princess Diana.
Was it murder or was it an accident?
Ooh.
What stops you from going to heaven? Is there a heaven?
That's
the
it
more
on
I've
that
been
video.
watching their videos, the more I'm seeing the connection get stronger, especially with that radio they're using, to where there's not a bunch of fluff in the middle, and the responses that are coming through are very clear and very relevant to the topic at hand. And that's what's been catching my eye lately, is that relevance and that clarity.
I love that. Jamie knows we've done a lot of ITC together on the shows. That I've always wanted to try to get Tesla to come through. So I'm totally jealous. Totally. I mean, I heard Tesla more than once in there. It was really muffled. I want people to, our video quality is definitely not as good as what his original quality is. So definitely go check out. It's Paranormal Den, right, on YouTube.
Yeah, or Facebook. We also have another. We actually promised Tesla that we would do one more video because his favorite number was 3. So we have one more video to do. We're using the same cards each time. We do have another video that you might be interested in if you do enjoy Tesla, that he comes through again and we do the same thing. We do not speak the entire time. Every 33 seconds, we ask the question. So we try to
He loved numbers.
connect to him directly and appreciate him as a person.
That's
I think
awesome.
Jason was wanting a whole founding fathers of ITC, at least like 1 week, if people could just pick one person and everybody try to connect with at least one founding father of ITC, and that's one that he's always wanted.
It's very awesome to be able to share that first off, and it was awesome to connect. Like, we heard it straight off, because sometimes you don't hear it until you review it, but we were hearing Tesla.
I'll tell you what, Jason. I really don't have an ITC collector show until February. The way things are working out, because the usual date I do the next ITC show is at holiday time, and the next month we actually have Jeff Mudgett on for he's the ancestor of H.H. Holmes. But probably February I'm doing an ITC show. I'd love to have you come on and try that experiment.
Yeah,
That would be so awesome.
That's never a problem for us. I just want to let you guys know, first and foremost, we have never, not once, we have 100% how we feel. It's all in our opinion, but we base it on all of our videos. We have never, not once, contacted anybody that we planned on it. We always think prior to it. We research. We'll sit for an hour sometimes thinking about the person or just looking at a picture. But we have never, not once, gotten in contact with.
Well, we'll focus on Tesla, man, because that's the one. That's the one I've always wanted to try to reach through.
Well, we'll schedule a date sometime. Just let us know.
I will. I definitely will, because that'd be an awesome experiment. I love how you did it with the notes and stuff. I think that's really awesome. Because the question is, I mean, people wonder when we do these ITC experiment shows here. People often ask, it's like, well, can they hear me? Because we're all in this digital universe connecting to each other. And I like right now they couldn't. There's nobody. If the spirit was here, if I'm playing my ITC device in my house, I'm on the show. Okay, people wonder, well, can they hear me? Because I'm not playing it out of a speaker. I'm not playing their voice. It's in my headphones. I swear they do. They know what's in the chat room. Even I swear they come through and comment on it. It's all energy. It doesn't matter if it's in the computer or on the chat room or whatever.
Awesome topic, because there are times when just our thoughts, like sometimes some of the things that come through the radio, I don't even believe is spiritual energy. I feel like it's my own thought. Like I've held up my fingers. I knew how many fingers I was going to hold up. I've gotten the answer several times. There are times when I know that it's my own energy manipulating, and because we're all cut from the same cloth, we are all part of it. So I think enhanced intuitives can do the same thing as a spirit can. So sometimes, I'm not saying all of it, but I'd say maybe just a little bit sometimes is you and what you're thinking at the time.
Oh, I think it's a lot you. I think it's a lot of people. I think
so,
we're the
too.
biggest medium. I mean, you look at the, I can't say, I would, even if I remembered his name, I'm sure I would butcher it to half death, is the guy in, what, is it Italy or is it Spain? I think it's Italy.
Bocce,
yes. That does the, he had his radio, his different radios, tube radios and stuff like that. And they'd take the tubes out.
Shortwave radio.
Yeah, and he'd get
radios.
he put his hand on it, and spirits would come through. Nobody else could do it, just him. So, like, scientists hate that.
It's like when we touch our portals too, for our energy. I think there's a whole lot that has to do with them, and a whole lot that has to do with us.
Right, exactly. Like it's whether or not your connection's there, and they know it, and you can express it yourself. Like I can't sit here and tell you I have proof of it. I just believe it, and I just have had too many experiences where I know that it was either me or Terry that just came through. It might have been a male voice that didn't sound like me, but it was the exact answer I was looking for, and I didn't feel like the energy I'm used to feeling when we are.
You're saying like you come through. Are you saying that like your own energy is making the communication? Like it's like your subconscious coming through the device at times, not a spirit.
Correct. Yes. That's exactly.
That's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought too, because I've thought about that too.
Because it's that's what I believe. Like I am totally a believer in that, because why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't we be able to do that if we're all if I die now, I'm the same thing that we're trying to communicate with, and that consciousness, that energy is me and makes up me and makes up that spirit. So it would make more sense to me if I could versus me not being able to.
There's a thing we did a little bit of it on an ITC show of a thing called iDigital Media does it on YouTube, and they put up what they call it the Spiritcom, like Bill O'Neill's Spiritcom device, and it's I think it's a detuned hand radio they're using or whatever on there. And it's a lot of there's no radio, there's no voices coming through, but people hear voices in it. And the whole idea, the experiment, they play these live streams to see if the consciousness of people who are listening to it at that moment can affect it or change it and make communication come through, be it spirit or our own consciousness. Still there, Jason?
Yes. Sorry. Well, I'm just.
It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, I don't know if you've heard of that. Go check it out. It's called iDigital Media is the YouTube channel, I believe, and it's the Spiritcom device. It's pretty interesting. I think they're still doing the live experiments. I'm not sure. But they'll put a live feed up and see if your thoughts can experiment. Maybe you have more of an ability to do it than other people because you've been doing it. You're practicing it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I have to check it out.
You do believe you're getting spirits, though, that come through, too, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've had specific spirits here for several weeks. We have all that documented. We document everything. We kind of it's me mostly. I have an obsession with it, but at the same time, we do have specific spirits here every now and then. Right now, the male figure. I have the urn sitting next to me because at first we were going to be. You were going to be able to see us So we had the doll. We have a doll that we got, and an
your own
urn,
haunted doll.
and yeah, we have several haunted items, and we were just gonna show them off.
I know. Well, maybe next time for the ITC show, we can figure out how to get your Hangouts working, or you can get you a mic for your computer, even a cheap one. Will work. Did you say? Are you still there? I don't know if you cut out.
Yeah. I just said we'll get the kinks all worked out.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get that going.
One of the things too, I was wondering, you're doing this. You say you focus in on people. What are some of the things that go in to help you kind of focus in on a certain person you're going to try to communicate with? What are you doing to like tune into that?
My own. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do it different ways, maybe even the same way, but it's just my own form of meditation. Like we start thinking about the person together. I think Terry and I, we both, once we start thinking of it, it gets pretty intense sometimes. Like I'll be pacing for about 15, 20 minutes before we even do the sessions. I get really worked up, almost to the point where I feel like I'm about to start channeling. So we will watch video. We will make sure that our spirit guides are there with us at the time and willing to do it. They have never not helped us. And that's basically how things work out. We will concentrate and do our own form of meditation, which is focusing, saying their names, whether it be in our mind or out loud, and just talking about them and our own personal experiences, as far as like Manson, for instance.
I was just going to bring up, I was like, so what did you do to tune in to Charles Manson? Because I don't know if I'd want to tune into that.
A lot of his crazy videos, Alex Bob, he got to it before we did. So he had sent us a message, but we were actually waiting for Manson to die to do his session, because he deserves, if there's a hell, he deserves to be in it. But we were already thinking about him days prior, so we were worked up, we were ready. That was really intense for me. I was very anxious. I was almost angry, so watching some of his videos.
Well, if you watch the Manson stuff and you know the crime they did, we had David Oman on here who lives just like 200 yards down away from where the Tate murder happened, and I mean, it's horrific, and even if he wasn't the orchestrator, he was the orchestrator, but he wasn't the one doing the killing. It makes him a complete monster.
Right, and when we did it was phenomenal. The video is very controversial. A lot of people didn't like it because it was like right after he died, but I don't care. It's Charles Manson. Whatever.
It's what it's come down to in the ITC field. I have no problem with it. If you were, they get, well, you're just doing it to get YouTube hits. No, we're doing it to find somebody that people recognize, that people will know, like, yeah, that's Charles Manson. If it really came through, that's why people do it. People do it to get hits and stuff like that sometimes, to like, hey, look, I'm trying to contact so-and-so that just died. It's not always that, though. It's a lot of, this is a powerful, I call them archetypes in the human psyche. That's what I believe. And when these people pass on, if you get a communication, if you heard Charles Manson's voice come through. Now, I always have to say, though, the only thing I always knock on it is if you're using radio. I'd be more preferred to use apps and stuff, or banks, because the only thing I fear is radio. Because of course they're going to be talking about it on news channels and stuff. They're going to be talking about Charles Manson's death. You don't want that to come through, and playing clips of Charles Manson interviews.
There's some really crazy curse words in there that are banned by the FCC.
Well, speaking of that, are they in the video?
Yes, they are in the video.
Are they bleeped? How bad are they? Because I got to watch what I play on the radio network.
The one says "kill you," the bad word for African American. But I mean, you don't have to play it. I mean, you can play the first half, but it's crazy.
It's a clip from the radio. I'm not too worried about it. No F-bomb. That's why I don't want that.
There's is there?
Probably at least one, I think.
There
but I
might
don't
be
know if
one
he said
towards
that.
the end. I'm not. I don't want to tell you yes or no, but I know it's Manson. It's like it's like him talking in one of his crazy videos.
Maybe we'll just Jeff, when you play the video, like stop, don't play all the way to the end. Watch out, because we're gonna watch out for that. We don't want that to come through. Even if it is staticky radio voice, that most people might be like, "Is that what he said?" I don't want it, on the radio network. So we won't play it all the way to the end.
And before you play it, there was a topic that you were on about when somebody dies and when you should do a session. Well, I just the day before my grandmother passed, I am very close with my grandmother. I did a session while she was upstairs dying. The very next day, I helped carry her out of her house, went back in her house, and then did another session, and I put that together. So there does not matter whether it's...
Right, it's a celebrity or not.
There's way too many rules when it
There are no
comes to
rules, though.
research
People are making up rules. There are no rules to this.
about when it's okay, when it's not. If you knew somebody, if you didn't, if they were famous, if they weren't. When it comes down to it, they're passed on, and we want to know the answers.
Yeah.
So all these little rules, unless you're being disrespectful, I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. Exactly. I mean, who decides these rules? I mean, people get too butthurt. That's my opinion. I want to save the video till after our commercial break, which we might as well just get into that, so we can do that. Play the video, talk a little bit about it, and take some phone calls if anybody wants to call in. We will have the 2 Skype lines. I'll give those out after we come back from the commercial break. But you'll hear music that's on Late Night in the Midlands. If you want to just listen, if you're getting late for you guys and you're like, oh, I got to go to bed. Well, you could listen while you're in bed. You just go to latenightinthe-midlands-radionetwork.com on your phone, or download the TalkStream app. You can Paranormal Radio app on there and listen to us there, or there's the call number. You can always listen on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. And don't forget, go to the website, subscribe, and if you can donate to help the network out, it'd be really greatly appreciated. All right, guys, when we get back from our break, we'll have Jason and Terry. We're going to talk about Marilyn Manson and their communication with him with an ITC device. All right, guys, back in a few minutes. Tonight on Paranormal Soup, we have guests Jason Emerick and Tari Brillhart. They are paranormal investigators from Akron, Ohio, who do a lot of ITC research. We do the ITC Collective show here. We definitely have to get these guys back on to do some experiments, especially reaching Tesla. And of course, we're going to get and play their video of Charles Manson. I said Marilyn Manson. I knew I was going to say that tonight. Whenever I bring up Charles Manson, it was when I had David Oman on. I knew I was going to say Marilyn Manson. Oh, I hate that too. But we're going to get them on. We're going to watch their video here in a minute of them trying to communicate with Charles Manson. They try to tune in and reach out to certain individuals. Like I said, sometimes it's not celebrity. Sometimes it's just a personal loved one. But these people, I'm meeting more and more people in the ITC field that are building these communications. They seem to be able to, they are the medium than whatever. They could use whatever tool. It doesn't matter. They're the medium. They're what's bringing in the channel, in my opinion. They're the biggest part of it, more than whatever device you use. So we're going to get to that in just a second. You still there with us, Jason, Terry?
Yep.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna play. I said Marilyn Manson. I saw Bill comment in the chat room, and I was like, "Dang it! I didn't even realize I did it." And I knew I was gonna do it. Charles Manson. And,
it's okay.
Actually, the night he died, that's the night we had David Oman on. And he's known because his house is so close to the Manson murders and he has such weird activity in his home. And it was funny because he was on the show. We got a call in. He got a call on his phone. I was like, oh, great. I'm like, he's seriously going to take this phone call? But it was somebody telling him, hey, Charles Manson just died right when we were having David Oman on talking about it. So, yeah. Let's see. Now, this video, you did this how long right after, was it right after the death or you said it was a few days?
It was right after the death. We woke up. He had died the night, so it was the next day.
All right.
Within 20 hours of his death, he died. We did it.
All right, Jeff, go ahead and play the video and get the big screen up on this. And just watch out for the ending of the video.
I apologize.
You want the full screen?
What is that, Jeff? Oh, no, I was saying I put my full screen.
Always went to the gas chamber. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy. I'm inside of you, man. I live inside of you. I'm inside every one of you.
Charles, can you come through and communicate? That same male voice keeps coming through. It almost sounds like
I was
it
just
too.
thinking that too.
That sounded like Charles Manson's voice.
What's your name?
God.
Do you realize you're dead now? Manson, how old were you when you died? Are you in hell, Charles? How old were you when you died?
Black Friday at JCPenney, and the holiday challenge is on. Doors open Thursday at 2 p.m. for
Now that you're dead, will you admit to the murders that you helped? I don't know.
Jeff, I think the video got off sync.
Do you believe that you are God, Charles?
Jason's saying, or Jeff's saying the screen has to be changed.
Oh, yeah, I got off sync there, but we'll go ahead and stop there. We got some of it. Guys, go check it out, Paranormal Den. It's Charles Manson video. Definitely didn't do it justice because it got off sync there as the video started to roll. But when it wasn't off sync, and I heard some of those replies when it said God, Jason, that sounded like Charles Manson's voice to me.
Right. That's what we hear from everybody else too.
I mean,
it sounded
really
like
did.
them.
I mean, it was like intoned the way he would say it. You know, I don't know if you can go back and play that clip, Jeff. You can rewind it to when he says God. Just go back to that. Can you do that, Jeff? Because to me, that was like, oh wow.
I know, that's what we said too. It's still
That would be his response. What, Jeff?
Jason, we have the intermission screen on. Can you change it to me?
Oh shoot! Oh, sorry. Dang it! Ah! So people weren't seeing it at all. Dang it! Sorry. Somebody would told me sooner. Darn it. Okay, let's try that again. Let's go back. See if we can play it. So people weren't seeing it at all. It didn't matter. It wasn't synced up. People weren't seeing it. No, sorry, audience. The radio audience was hearing a bunch of noise, but they.
Living is what scares me. Dying is easy. I'm inside of you, man. I live inside of you. I'm inside every one of you.
Charles, can you come through and communicate? That same male voice keeps coming through. It almost sounds like
I was
it
just
too.
thinking that too.
What's your name?
God.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah,
Do
this
you
video's off
realize you're
sync,
dead
but
now?
And when it said Sharon earlier, I thought I heard Tate after it too, but you didn't
Manson,
tag
how
it.
old were you when you died?
But you can go ahead and stop the video because it's off sync, Jeff. People are like, off sync, I can't even see it earlier saying it, but man, when it says God, I mean, that is just that, what's your name? God. And that would be like that would be his response, beside, the way he was.
He was so full of himself, man. That's, some of them responses about his views on the African race when he says that disgusting comment.
I decided to cut it off there. I didn't want to go any further with the video.
Those are some of the things that he would say, and it just totally, in our opinion, that was Manson. I was like, babe, we totally communicated with Charles Manson today, so we felt like it was him.
What was the device you were using?
The 12587, the Radio Shack. We used the hacked radio.
Now, what was the speed on that? How quickly is that going through stations?
I'm thinking that probably runs at about 150 milliseconds, maybe slower. It's not very fast. It's not a very fast one, but I found with that radio, even with it set on just one radio frequency without it scanning, we can pick up Class A EVPs. Actually, I have proof of that in several videos. So it works really well. For some reason, spirits are able to use that radio. It's by far the best radio I've ever used.
Ours is an 8.9. I was just double checking.
We had
check.
we had the 4. I forget. I just sold it. It was the 469, I think, and that was a really good one too. The little white one.
I forgot to mention too, coming back to break, I was so excited to see the Charles Manson video, and beating myself up for saying Marilyn Manson. But people, you can't call into the show. There are the Skype lines are open, the phone line's not tonight. So it's just the Skype lines. There's the J Bland audio only Skype line. There's also the video Skype line. Jeff is the engineer for that. That's Soup Live Chat 800 Live Chat. So you can call in either one of those lines if you got a question for our guest tonight. So, besides Charles Manson, who are some of the other people you felt that people would recognize you might have gotten through? And I don't have to say it's always celebrities, maybe historical figures or some of the locations you got. Who are some of the people you felt came through the strongest?
Well, we had a demon issue for a while. We documented that. So we believe probably one of the most prevalent over a period of time, I would have to say it was something dark and evil. We also we communicated with Princess Diana, the rock legends Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington.
Ooh, I'd have some questions for them. I would, because you said Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, and I don't know if you've heard of the conspiracy theory out there. There's a conspiracy theory that they were murdered because both of them were working together to expose child sex slave rings.
Yep.
And did you guys get any information on that? I'm just curious.
We had so much audio, but I will tell you that when Chester hung himself, I went back and listened to the Chris Cornell video, and in the Chris Cornell video, he predicted that Chester was going to hang himself, and I also documented. Yeah, we have to talk about Chester hanging, all kinds of stuff. It's a crazy video. Like, I went back immediately and was like, well, did Chris's spiritual energy know what was going to happen? You know what I mean? Right. So, but yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you both their deaths just seem so odd. And then there's like they did there's the whole John Podesta conspiracy theory with Chester Bennington too. That I can see some people are I can see why some people are interested in it, because you hold a picture of the two of them together. I don't know if you've seen that conspiracy theory. They look exactly alike. Like he's an older version of Chester Bennington.
And the Chris Cornell video was purely done because I have memories as a teenager with his music playing in the back. So I mean, it was not just for let's just do a Chester
Yeah.
or a Chris Cornell video. I mean, these guys, I recognized and loved their music. You know
Oh,
what
me
I mean?
too.
So I wanted to know.
Oh, we do have a phone call on the line. We got Zach on the line. Oh, let me make sure the audience can hear him. I don't have that selected. 1 second, Zach. I want to make sure they can hear you. So, all right, you there with us, Zach?
I am, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. You got a question for our guest tonight?
I do. Actually, I had two questions. Jason, Terry, it's very excellent to meet you both. I want to go back to my first question, Jason. I want to go back to you to what you said that spirits many times have used your energy to communicate via EVP. My question to you is: have you ever gotten a response that brought up some kind of personal information that only you would know? Have they ever utilized that?
Yeah, I've gotten stuff about my father, stuff that he would know and only I would know. So yes, to answer your question, some of them things were private to me, would really hit a hard spot in your heart. So yes, several times. And I know that's happened to Terry as well, correct? Yeah. Yeah, it's something that's it's just part of the game, It's whether it's a head game or just a mistake that a spirit doesn't know that it's going to hurt you that way or it's going to hit you that way. But it does happen, and it has happened, and it will happen again.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. And my second question is, I loved hearing a lot of the audio regarding Nikola Tesla, Charles Manson, and all that. My second question to you is, what are some ways that you use to authenticate the identity of the spirit that you're talking to? Like when I was listening to the Nikola Tesla, I mean, I definitely heard like his Bosnian accent, for example, and I've worked with many Bosnians over the years and all that, so there's that type of accent really just like I can identify it right away. But anyway, that's my second question. Just what are some ways that you use to authenticate really the identity of the spirit that you're talking to?
Well, sometimes we can't. I can't tell you that we spoke with Nikola Tesla. But what I can tell you is that whether it was our spiritual energy or Tesla himself, we got relative responses to the questions that we were asking via card, not by voice, and to the environment. So that's something that hasn't, and it might be tomorrow when we figure out a way to do that. But I can't tell you
all of that gets taken into consideration when people want to call a coincidence this and that. When you're doing things enough, you just know things on the inside.
It's based on my opinion. I believe without a doubt, yes, I spoke with Tesla. We spoke with Tesla because whether it's his accent or not, a spirit might have a hard time and be only able to use whatever vocal tone is on the frequency that they're able to give the answer to. So it might be a woman's voice, but it might be Tesla himself, or it might be a woman's. It's just there's a whole bunch of different things that come into play.
And the whole theory about no voice box when you're gone. So whether they're mimicking their voice or trying to, you don't have a voice box anymore.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And I appreciate you answering my questions, both you, Jason, and Terry. Thank you so much as well, Jason, for allowing me to call in. I greatly appreciate it.
Great question, Zach.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Well, you have a good night, and everybody have a Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks, Zach, until I'm back. It's a 3-week break, so I'll miss you, buddy. I'll miss your phone call. But have a Merry Christmas.
I'll miss all of you too, man.
Have a Merry Christmas
Merry
and
Christmas, y'all.
Happy New Year too. So I'll talk to you next year.
Talk to you next year, brother.
All right, bye. Zach always has such good questions too. Yeah, it is when you never know. I mean, any spirit could trick or they're using a device to manipulate. They can manipulate it to sound Bosnian or sound like Charles Manson. You never know if you're really for sure talking to that spirit.
Correct. Yep. It's about belief and like you said, like that sounded like Manson's voice.
Oh, it did. I mean, oh my God. I mean, come on. And it was the right answer. I mean, to me, people. What I said earlier, the argument too is like, you did it right after his death. The skeptics will argue you used a radio. People are talking about it on the radio, and that's what you got. But you have to look at the odds too, because there's the odds of you asking that question and it answering you right back. God and Charles Manson. But what are the odds that timing? That happening.
Right. Exactly. And that happens in all of our videos. It's not just, we'll do a video about a doll and it'll be talking about dolls. There ain't every radio station that we're running through, whether it be AM or FM, it doesn't matter. They're talking about dolls or what a little kid would say. Little kids ain't on the radio the whole stinking time running through frequency after frequency. Things about urn, saying the word urn, there's just so much stuff that comes
the only
through.
time I think I hear kids' voices on the radio is that damn Cars for Kids commercial I hear, but
right. It's crazy. Once you crank that radio up and once the spiritual energy around you knows what it's about, because you were thinking about it prior to even hitting power button, they're about it. We've used it. They're waiting to talk. They know that that's what we're there for, whether we're here at our house, a cemetery, a location. We just did local legends down the street from us, the haunted schoolhouse and laboratory, and we got exclusive access to it. It's insane. It's where that Tesla coil is. It's you can't find one like that anywhere else in the world. It shoots out a million
you sent
volts.
that to me. You sent that to me at Facebook Messenger. I'm like, that is so awesome. And what it reminded me of is I saw a Tesla coil like that at a haunted. It looked just like it. It was at a haunted attraction. And what was it? I'd have to ask my wife because she went with me, and it was somewhere in Illinois. It was like a big-time haunted house. I don't know if it was Reaper's Realm. I don't remember. It was done at an actual place that used to be a factory where it has a lady in white. And we saw this lady there in white. It was right by the Tesla coil. It was like in that same room. And we were told there was no lady in white in the haunted house. There was, So, and me and several other people saw it. And I always wondered if that Tesla coil somehow like fed the energy or just because the place was haunted.
I mean, it's like a nuke going off for miles. I mean, it would be like a beacon for any spirit down the street. It would shine up like the brightest light you would ever see being a spirit. And they're going to be drawn to it. They're going to be pumped up, being able to move things. I mean, I felt the energy. My hair,
a flame or flies to one of those bug zappers,
Exactly, man, because I felt the energy myself for like 2 hours. I felt sick, almost like I had the flu from it. Just
electromagnetic energy, and if you're sensitive to it, it can make you really sick. We do have another call on the line. We got Chandra on the line. How you doing tonight, Chandra?
I'm good.
And you got questions for our guest?
Well, yeah, kind of. I had caught one of their videos a few months back where they were in a family's house where I guess it was like a demonic that was in like a kid's closet.
Yes.
And my question is were you able to successfully clear their home?
Well, thus far, actually, it's weird that you asked that question. About 3 weeks ago, she asked us to come over, and she said that she had a dream. She thought she heard something talking by her ear. We told her no, we were not going to come over there because, honestly, us going over there, if there is any, we are going to stir it up because that's what we do. Yeah. They know what we're there for. So we told her to do the exact same thing she did the last time. Contact the priest, have him come over and do what he has to do, protect her. It might be a thing that she has to do every couple months for the rest of her life.
But the last thing she wants to do is run an ITC session.
That's where the demon, the demon that you heard in that video, that's part of that house. The whole video. Well, you remember, Chandra. You're a fan of our page. You remember watching that video. I mean, it's really intense. The child, he suffered a lot through that, and he is fine to this day. I mean, there's a lot of good things that happened after we went there and did what we did.
What about them burying blessed metals on all four corners of the home? Have they tried that?
Well, they've done all kinds of different things. They use salt. They make orders. I don't know what types of metals. They got metals that they run through the house. The priest himself does not want to acknowledge the demon's name, but once the priest was told the demon's name, because we actually caught the demon's name, the priest immediately stopped what he was doing and went to the house, blessed it, and they don't have any issues. So
let's just get it out.
Yeah.
I was just curious of that because I never caught the subsequent videos after that.
Yeah. What's odd is the preacher or priest, he did not watch any of our videos. He didn't know where we had the most activity, but that closet he blessed 2 times. He didn't know that that's where the issues were being, but he actually took his time. He blessed it, walked around the house, went back to that closet and blessed it. It was evil. It was calling me all kinds of names. You know, I went in there and used God. We actually helped subside it for about a month, but we weren't powerful enough. You know, I can't tell you that we're experienced enough to go in there and do it ourselves. So we reached out and had her reach out to somebody who was, and it works. So just one of those things that, just
good.
like
That's
taking
good.
medicine.
Well, thank you, Chandra, for calling in.
Well, that's good. That's all I really wanted to know. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Bye.
So, you do residentials like that with that kid. I mean, that's what I do. I focus on a lot. Mainly in my area is doing residentials, trying to help people that are living at home, especially when they have kids involved. How old was the kid when it started for him?
Well, it might have started earlier, but when we got in touch with him, he was having experiences while he was 12.
Yeah, so he's not like a little kid. He's enough to rationalize and, beyond the imaginary friend phase and, old enough to know. He's almost a teenager. So he
was very. We feel like we brightened his life a little bit, and it was something that we are proud of, We have several cases that we get asked all the time to do all kinds of different stuff. We have to kind of pick and choose because we're so busy lately. We got a lot of stuff going on. But we got a house that's similar, growls, stuff like that, kids seeing shadow figures and stuff. We just haven't made it there yet. We plan on doing that within the next month, I would say, Dave, right? Yeah, so we do try to help. We do private sessions for people. We don't share it with the public. People reach out to us. We've contacted people that are in comas that can't talk, that aren't even dead yet, and talk about what's happened with their family members while they're in the hospital rooms, and then the next day. We do stuff for people behind the scenes that nobody really knows about, but that's what we're really there for, is to help, and we learn a lot along the way. That's who we are. That's what makes us different than a lot of other people. And we stay out of all the drama. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
There's just so much. It's irrelevant to what we're all trying to do.
Exactly.
We all need to unite, become a family, a real family.
Interesting. It's the case with the kid too. What was some of the things he was experiencing?
He was being pinned down. He was urinating the bed. Never had those issues. He was speaking in basically languages, we weren't there at the time, that nobody really understood. Seeing a girl every night at the end of his bed looked like she had just hopped out of the shower with no eyes. Just a whole bunch of different things. Scratching on his walls, marks on himself, bruises. We left him alone for less than a minute, was it that day? So I saw the curtains started moving, the plants. it was like a wind was going through, but you couldn't feel a wind. Everything started moving. It was crazy. The kids started crying while we were there. Like,
Wow.
I mean, it's insane. You know, we did it full interviews with him. We did document that. That's also on our YouTube. You know, that our whole it's a family member of mine. So it wasn't just a family. You know, this is my family too.
Yeah.
So it was whatever it was messing with my family. One of my family members reached out. I was there. Well, we were there. Alex Bob actually was there with us as well. We did 2 investigations there. Alex Bob was there during the first one, and just ask him about it when he's on your show.
Yeah.
He'll tell you.
What do you think incited? I mean, what do you think got this thing to latch onto this kid?
A Ouija board, or
I knew you were going to say something like that.
We believe it was some kind of spiritual communication, a doorway that was opened, and we believe that doorway will always be open there at that house.
So
it's
he played with a Ouija board?
No, it was prior to them moving in. They rented the house. It's kind of a still situation where they just can't move out, so they're kind of stuck there for the moment.
So somebody else used a Ouija board in that location.
What we gathered from evidence and just the way you feel, it's a portal that goes from all 3 stories just in one part of the house, and the major doorway is in that kid's room. But it's closed right now. But you know, it's one of those things where it's a battle. You know.
Well, him and his mother are both sensitive as well, and
Yeah.
we told them that it's very likely that they will always have some sort of experiences wherever they are, just because they're both very sensitive.
I swear sometimes people become sensitive more because of where they living in a certain location for a while. The doorways are open and it opens up something in them.
Especially something like that. Like, that's traumatic. Mm-hmm. That makes you want to be part of that gift that you have. It's like, I want to turn it off because that's horrible to experience. You know, like, we've experienced it, but we've all also experienced the good. If it was just straight horrible all the time, I would never do it again. You know, right. It's about, learning.
Well, and and when you're a kid, you're not even looking to do the paranormal or anything. It's just happening in your bedroom. And you have no control over the situation. That's scary.
Seeing stuff my whole life. My way of like seeing stuff around me is I close my eyes and I can actually see like it's almost like a lava lamp inside my eyes. It's like I'm still seeing, and then all of a sudden it'll take form. I can do that. I'm not psychic. I've had psychic moments, like when Alex Bob was coming up. It kept saying 3 days, and then we went to the demon house. It was all crazy. I've had another one where I didn't even know the guy. I show up to his memorial, and I'm sitting in the same place where he died, and I didn't even know it, but I was looking for him. I was wondering where he died, and I asked, and the dude's like, well, you're sitting in the same chair where the dude died. It was weird. Didn't even know the guy. Like,
he had seen him mentally on our way there.
Wow. So, but not like a lot. It doesn't happen every day. I don't see like, anything.
Well, you got to wonder if spirits are going to start trying to reach out to you. They're like, hey, I need to get a message, or if I could get through the other side or communicate, this guy's doing it.
I think so. Every single video we've done, they say Jason's name. They know who he is everywhere.
There's not a video. You go on my YouTube. I've probably gotten my name said hundreds of times, and that's like not even like joking. It's like 4 or 5 times, and we don't take 45 minutes to do a session. We do 10 to 15 minute sessions and get what you're watching. We don't. Right.
Who wants to go on for review 45 minutes straight? Either. It's good to keep your sessions short to 10 to 15 minutes because you got to go back and review it.
Yeah, it sucks doing stuff like that. Like we did a lot of video up at the Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. We were one of the first people to ever offer the public any type of paranormal evidence to that place, and it's amazing. And we got full access to it. We're going to start going to it a little bit more. But I get my name there. I've never been there before in my life, and like I'm around the Tesla coil, and it's said 3 times within a minute. So it's crazy.
Well, it's really these devices. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're tuned into what you're trying to communicate with, you're going to get it probably.
Right. They know who you are. Trust me.
Now, what do you have besides that? Do you have anything else coming up in the future? People should be on the lookout for.
We've been offered to be on a TV show, guest appearance on a TV show. We can't fully disclose too much about it.
Okay.
But as soon as we can, we will.
I'll make sure to share it on my timeline. So
it's not for sure yet, but it's looking like everything's going to work out. If not, we're going to move forward in our own direction, anyways. We have friends in production, Big House LA. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They work with Jason Bloomhouse. They do some stuff. We're going to probably head our own way and maybe do our own thing and maybe just help some people out and maybe do a couple pilot episodes and shoot them out there. But either way, we're just going to continue moving forward and not stop what we're doing. This is something that we're on to something. We all are, and it's always going to be a part of our life.
For people that are just starting to get interested in ITC, for people I've said ITC a billion times, there might be some people that don't know, but instrumental transcommunication. Is what it's called, but ITC for short. For people just starting out, what is your best advice for them how to start doing it?
Don't go to somewhere where most people will look up online and find a good haunted place that they've never been to before, or try to start off easy. Go to a peaceful cemetery, maybe go to a place. Go to your own family's, plot, somebody that you love, do a basic, we started off in some of the hardest places to start off at. We learned in the beginning to not do that. So I would just go to like my own father's grave. I would maybe use an SP7 or a digital recorder, or even your camera. I found that a lot of HD cameras, I get more EVPs on my HD cameras than I do on any of my recorders.
I swear it's something to do with the way the mics are built and the way they're able to manipulate something. I always, stochastic resonance is one of the theories. But I always wonder, because, I've heard a lot of people say that, and I've gotten that too. I've gotten them on my camera. Wonder what it is that makes it easier for them to communicate or be able to leave an EVP. I'm an EVP guy. I love spirit boxes, and I love doing the ITC thing, but I love the pure voice that just comes through out of nothing into a
Jason,
recorder.
So do have plenty. I have a EVP from the hospital where I don't even have the ghost box running. It says what's that guy's name? Victor. Anyways, it says Victor left, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to turn on the ghost box. I turn on the ghost box, and I'm like, is anybody here? It says Victor. So not only did we get a clear EVP saying he left, we turn the ghost box on. The first name that comes through is Victor. It's just crazy. But we have tons of free air EVPs. We love them too. And
you get them even with I'm sure, and I know you've probably had this happen. I mean, doing as much as you have, I know you had, because I know I have. Is you get an EVP that pops in over the ITC device. It didn't come from the ITC device.
Right, yeah. And you're like, yeah, that didn't come through. Like a woman singing or like the radio's going through and you hear something over top of it. You already that it isn't that. It might be coming through the speaker though. Sometimes it's weird. It's odd how it works.
Well, I say, the EVPs that are free air and ITC devices, I think the phenomenons are very closely related. Like, they're using sound we don't when you don't hear an EVP with your own ears, but they're still manipulating something, in my opinion, in the device, the recording device. They're manipulating something somehow, and I swear they use noise, because if you leave a recorder just sitting. And I used to have an investigator. He would leave a recorder sitting for hours. I'm like, dude, you got to review all that, for one. And two, I've barely ever gotten anything. And two, you can't really validate it too well because, you have a camera on it. That's about your only validation. Nobody else made any noise. But most of the time, you're not going to get anything. You're not there to ask any questions, for an EVP. But I swear the more time I get EVP is in between us talking. Like, they use our own voices to bounce back and make the EVP happen, or sounds that are going on.
Right. But there have been times when we hear EVPs audibly.
I have too.
Hear quite a bit. One night when I was actually scared like a little girl, I felt something crawl up beside our bed. This is when we were having some issues with something really malevolent and evil. I was hearing a woman getting killed. That's what I thought. Pictured in my head, like screaming. You knew there was a man. This
was in your home? This was in your home?
This was in our home, yeah. And I told Terry, I was like, Terry, do you hear that? And then all of a sudden she heard it. And these are audible EVPs. And I ended up sleeping
disembodied voices, that's what it is.
Yeah, I ended up leaving our bed and sleeping in our living room on our couch. And I had her sleeping on the outside of it. Because whatever it was trying to get to me, I felt. And I'm not going to lie, I was scared. There are times, I just was at the haunted laboratory. I walked around by myself in pitch darkness. I've been in body shoots at hospitals by myself. Me and Terry both have walked. We've laid in the morgue. I am telling you, I've been more scared in my home than I've been anywhere else.
That's not good. That's not good, man. You don't want to be scared in your own home.
Well, I'm not now.
No, I know
I'm
you're
not
now.
saying that they're.
That happens. Like, I got to do something about this because it ain't gonna happen.
And it's we learned ourselves. We didn't ask for anybody's help. We learned totally.
I have to ask, what do you think followed you? That screaming in your home and hearing somebody murder. What do you think followed you? Did you have any kind of like a hint or an idea what followed you home in that instance?
We have a video of where the word demon comes through more than 40 times in a matter of 15 minutes. It's an 8-minute video, and you'll hear the name demon come through 8 times. It's 8 minutes long, and you'll hear it come through more than 40 times. It was a warning, but that's what it was.
But did you pick up that demon from somewhere? That's what I'm wondering. Like,
whether it's a demon or whoever, something just pure evil. I don't want to tell people that they're demons or what, but in our own mind, yes, that's what it was. It was very dark, very dark. It wrecked and ruined our mental health for months. We felt sick. We didn't know what to do. But once it came to a head, we took care of it.
Well, is it any relation to your family member, the boy, who had the demonic activity?
No, but for 3 days after that investigation, I caught some really crazy stuff at our house.
Because I know personally investigators that deal with the demonic, and all of them have said when they get a case, they know sometimes because it comes before they even get to go investigate, and now stuff starts happening in their house. It's like the demon comes after them.
Yeah. We had issues for about 3 days afterwards, but it went away. We didn't have to worry about it. We didn't have no problems afterwards. It was more of the residual aspect of the whole investigation that was with us still versus the actual demon.
So the demon that was really hitting your home was something else from somewhere else. So you think it was from communicating in the home, or did you pick it up from another location?
Yeah, the demon that wrecked our lives was from the hospital. It was there. It lived there. It came and it fed. And
He actually has video where he felt it when it hit him.
yeah, I have video where I'm like, babe, I just got hit by something, and on the spirit box it says, "Me too." Like, and this is like all the while hearing the word demon, run, get out of here. Like, they're warning us that they're being harbinged by this demon. Like, they're being held there by this whatever. It was in the morgue area.
I, as a kid who grew up in hospitals, I've always had strange feelings in hospitals. I lived across the street from one at one point, the same one I grew up in, basically, and worked at one point. As I've always felt hospitals are big doorways. I mean, life and death happens there. And if there's any place that's going to have a doorway to the other side, a hospital would be it, So you can imagine all kinds of things could be inside an old abandoned hospital.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was originally a tuberculosis hospital.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Psych ward. I mean, you had it all there. So, I mean, if anything's going to be there, it's going to be something that's going to be waiting to either take you to the side that you're supposed to go on, if you're a believer in that, or to keep you there in your own type of purgatory. They were very a lot of good souls there, but we were told by a lot of those good souls that we should have left because of what was there, and we did not heed their warnings. We took whatever was there home.
Ghost hunters don't usually, or paranormal investigators don't usually heed the warnings.
Yeah.
Especially then, we didn't do much to protect ourselves at that
Yeah.
point.
I mean, I would walk up in that hospital in a heart. It's no longer there. It actually got tore down last year. But I would walk up into any hospital at any time. I don't fear those things. As soon as they know that you fear them, that's when you lose all control.
We do have another phone call on the line here, but we've got about 6 minutes left in the show, so I want to take this. Who do we got on the line here?
Spooky.
Hi, Spooky. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Jason. How are you?
Is this the Spooky I know?
Yeah, Spooky.
Oh,
Anything
hey,
but
Spooky.
ordinary.
Anything but ordinary.
Hey.
Spooky. Raven. Spooky and Raven. Hey, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know anything about ITC, so I got a couple questions I'd like to ask your guest.
Go for it.
Okay, this ITC that you got at Charles Manson, where did you get that? Do you have to go to certain places to pick up these voices, or can you get them anywhere?
We can get them anywhere. We can go down the street on the corner by the stop sign and do a session there and pick up Manson. What we like people to know, that you have to build the ability. You have to build your intuitive side and prepare for it and work on it. But once you'll never master it, but once you get it to where you're able to focus and get what you're trying to get to come through, you can grab hold of it from anywhere. You've never had to meet the person their whole life, but you can meet them in death if you know what you're doing.
Well, I wondered because I didn't get in on the first half of the show, but there was something said about being around the Tesla coil, and I was wondering if that's where you got Tesla at. If you had to go to a place where that person was.
No, but actually, you probably just helped out our next Tesla video, because maybe we'll just do it there.
That'd be awesome. We're gonna have to quit here soon, because you know what? For the first time ever having somebody on my phone is actually about ready to die. So right towards the end of the show. Did you have any other question, really quick, Spooky?
Doing these ITCs, do you think that that's like opening up a door? Have you ever had anything, try to attach itself to you from doing these?
Yes, it is. That's exactly what you are doing, is opening a doorway from our world to theirs. It might even be the same world. It's just we're just opening that door to communicate. Now, yes, things can attach themselves to you, but you are powerful enough to let them know, just like you would a stranger on the street, hey, turn around, leave me alone, give me my own personal space. And there are ways to protect yourself against anything evil, and stuff like that. You just don't want to dabble into it. If it's something that you want to try and do on your own, there are videos on YouTube that might help you. You can rewatch this show. We did discuss that a little while ago. And, you know, just go with caution. You know, you definitely want to go with caution.
Well, like I said, I don't know anything about ITC. I have been a paranormal investigator for years, and I just don't do demons. I leave them up to somebody else. But thank you for answering my questions.
Hey, thank you for asking them.
And this was Spooky from Spooky and Ravens, Anything But Ordinary. Check them out on YouTube on Tuesday nights. Not every Tuesday night, but 2 Tuesday nights a month at least.
Well, there won't. It's usually a couple times a month, but there won't be another show until after the beginning of the year anyway.
Yeah, same
there
here.
won't be any more this year. Yeah.
Same here.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Spooky.
Well, thanks for taking my call. Y'all have a good night.
You too. And we are at the end of the show, and I'm going to lose you in a minute because my phone's going to die for the first time. I hope that it's not going to be a reoccurring thing. But thank you so much, Jason and Terry, for being on the show. I will send you a message soon, in the next week or so, about trying to figure out when we can get you on for an ITC Collective show.
That sounds great, man.
Thank you so much, guys. You have a great night. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hey, you too. Thanks for having us on.
All right, guys, we will be back. It's going to be a 3-week break because we're going to be hitting the holidays here. One Sunday's Christmas, one Christmas Eve, and one Sunday is New Year's Eve. So it'll be a 3-week break. Plus, I have January 7th. I won't have a show either because I have to be at work that night, sadly. So it'll be 3 weeks, and then we'll be back in the new year with a new show. And before my phone dies, let me see who do we have up there in January. It might be Alex Bob. I don't know. I gotta see. But yeah, first time my phone's almost died on me during a show. I have guests on my phone here, like this here, you know, and the damn power thing, adapter thing doesn't want to work. I have to leave it unplugged to do the audio. Damn iPhone 7s. So I hope that's not reoccurring because I have a lot of guests on here. Usually it holds a charge. Maybe it's Facebook Messenger that ate it up. But let's see. Who do we got? So coming up, the next show, I should have looked at this before I started the show and I forgot. January 14th will be the next show. And yes, it will be Alex Bob. So it's kind of be like a continuation here of investigators in the ITC. We'll get Alex Bob's perspective on the instrumental transcommunication and his thoughts on it, and talk a little bit about what he's done with Jason and Terry, too. All right, guys. So 3 weeks. I'm going to miss you all. Miss you, Jamie and Jeff. It's nice to have every Sunday to hang out with my friends online. So it'll be a hard 3 weeks, but it's also holidays, and I love spending time with my family. So it'll be a good, nice break, and it'll be a new season for Paranormal Soup. We'll be back. I have been thinking about trying an experiment and going on YouTube again, maybe once in a while. Try it out. We might try that coming up. Late Night in the Midlands is working on doing a live 24/7 stream on YouTube. They're working on it. They're going to try it again starting tomorrow, I think. And they're working on getting a music license for YouTube. So I'd be interested in trying to live stream from that if that's possible. But yeah, all right, guys, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. It'll be a start of a new year when we come back. 2018. I cannot believe when we come back it's going to be 2018. It's already that. I just felt like this Year of the Clown. I guess it's a good thing it went by fast. I call it the Year of the Clown. It's been a messed up year, but man, I've had a good time doing this show this year. I can't wait for another year of Paranormal Soup 2018. More episodes to come, more new themes. We got a lot of great guests coming up the next couple months. And if you have a guest suggestion, hit me up on Facebook Messenger, or you can email me at oojblandoo@yahoo.com. oojblandoo@yahoo.com is my email. Send me guest suggestions. Give me a way to contact them if you have anything. Or if you want to be a guest, contact me that way and let me know. All right, guys, like I said, Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. See you in 2018.